All right. All right, all right, all right. It's Friday. Get some lo-fi beats going. I got this background. Half academic, half creative. All right, let's fade the music. Not much of a fade there. All right, so a couple good things for you today. So first has to do with how to write LinkedIn articles that are going to be more compelling, engaging, get more people to just really convert from your LinkedIn articles. Get more people understanding what you do, how you do it, how it's going to be beneficial for them, and all of that. So, all right, let's just start with the story. So, I was just critiquing one of my wonderful clients' articles, and she writes articles the way that most professionals do on LinkedIn, in a kind of sense where, hey, you've got a topic and maybe you've got 4 points about that topic that you're going to share, and you have 4 kind of categories and 4 paragraphs about whatever it is that you want to share with the world. And that is, great and all, but if you've ever read articles like that, you'll notice that it feels a bit dry. It feels a bit like you're reading a textbook, and it feels like, well, I could read this anywhere. I've read this before in other articles. So specifically, this article was about executive presence. And while executive presence is a very important thing to talk about, lots and lots of people have already talked about that. And lots of people are able to give the textbook definition of what executive presence is. Now, she put in a couple great things about her clients, but it wasn't very deep enough and very compelling. And I think this is a trap with a lot of people creating content, especially here on LinkedIn, is that they think that if you're just putting out things that are valuable, then your content is going to do something, and that it's going to really give you a lot of credibility and give you authority because of this idea of value. But really, that's not the case. Really, the main thing. So really, the main thing that is going to give you effective content is personality. It is your opinions, your beliefs, the way that you think about particular topics, talking about the topic itself, saying what executive presence is and why it's important in and of itself is not going to make you an authority. It's not going to make anyone buy from you. But what will is you giving your opinion about the executive presence, your take on what people get wrong about executive presence, about, in your view, what great executive presence is, what that looks like, what that actually looks like in real life, and where you've seen people do it wrong. Who are some leaders out there in the real world who you think do it really well, and why do you think that they do it well? How have you embodied it yourself? So it's your perspective is what's going to get people really wanting to read your article and then read the next one and really like you and see you as the authority. Because when you write about the subject, that's not being an authority. It's the authority is what you think about the subjects. It's your opinions and your beliefs. So that's one of the biggest takeaways. Now, the other thing about writing great articles is specificity. So you don't want to write 4 different points about one topic, because you only have so much room in an article. People only have so much attention span. So if you're writing about 4 different things, each one of those paragraphs is going to be very broad and very generic, and you're going to use surface level kinds of language. And surface level language is not compelling. It makes it sound like, what is different about this? Where there's no juice in this? Where's the actionable advice? What am I actually taking away from this? It makes it feel like a textbook. You think about a history textbook, there's thousands of years of history confined into 1,000 or so pages. Like, you think one page for a year is enough to cover anything, and of course it's not. So what you want to do with LinkedIn articles, or even content in general, is you want to talk about one very specific point for each piece of content. So if you're thinking about writing an article right now that's about the 4 things, make it instead about that one thing. Just talk about that one thing, and then you can use this format. You can use hook, story, problem, solution, mechanism, call to action. So we want the post to have a narrative. We want to hook them in with what the value is they're going to get. We want to say, hey, here's the general problem. Here's a general problem that's happening right now. Okay, now here is a general solution to that problem based in your view, the way that you see how things should be. And then here's a technique, here's a mechanism that you can use. Here's something you can try right now that's going to help you solve this problem and get this result I just talked about. And hey, if you want to learn more about this, let me know. I've got a workshop coming up in a couple weeks. I've got a program called this. Comment this for a free PDF about more of this. So when you get specific, then you can get actionable. Then you can get visual. You can tell a story. You can paint the picture. And then that's going to get people really embodying themselves into your content, understanding what you're talking about, understanding your specific view about that thing that you're talking about. And it's just going to be a whole lot more compelling overall. So overall here, if you want to have better LinkedIn articles or content in general, you want to be, use your personality, talk about how you feel, all the things that you're thinking about the subject, not the subject itself, but your opinion on the subject. And then use specificity. Don't talk about 4 things, talk about 1 thing. Create a series of 4 separate articles, and then use a story seller format. Go hook, problem, solution, mechanism, call to action. And then you're going to have a great, better post. So that's that. The other thing I was thinking about is, so I'm reading Atlas Shrugged right now. It's a book by Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand. Not sure. Ayn Rand. I'll just cut that out. Let's redo that. So I'm reading a book right now. So I'm reading a book right now called Atlas Shrugged. It's a very famous book. You may have heard of it. But there's a particular thing that one of the characters, Dagny, is talking about. And there's this whole scene where this train from her train company is making this voyage on a new type of metal that has not been proven. And they're about to go across this bridge made of this metal. And the whole project is kind of riding on whether this metal is going to hold in the train and the whole company is going to be successful. And the whole time she's thinking that she knows that it will be successful. She knows that everything is going to be fine. They're going to go across this bridge, that everything that they've worked on for years is coming to fruition, has come to this point of accomplishment and achievement. Everything is going to work and everything is good. But she still has these little fears and these doubts, the fears and the doubts that are there. The what if not, what if they're right, what if this doesn't work again, what if there's a problem? And it just related to me so much because I think that we all are really feeling this and experiencing this, is that we have a vision and you have to know that you will get there, that everything is going to happen for you. And you might have all the confidence in the world that you are exactly going to get there and there's no way that you can fail and there's no plan B and there's no turning back. But those fears are still going to come up. There's still thoughts that pop into your head, those little pangs of fear, the little pangs of, what if, maybe not. And I just want to say that that's normal. I feel that that's normal. Reading that story from her just resonated so much, reading that part, that even if you have all the confidence in the world that everything that you're going to do is going to work and that it's already worked, that you already are successful in every moment. That's what real success is knowing that in every moment you are success. When every step that you take is success. There's no real failure. The only failure is stopping, is giving up. So even through all of that, there's pangs and there's little doubts and there's what ifs, and acceptance of that is going to be a good thing to help me move forward. That's what's helped me. It helped me realize that, and it helped me accept that more, that that's how it's supposed to be. You can have complete, full confidence, but maybe things don't always, but the fear is still going to be there and you have to do it anyway. Feel the fear and do it anyway. I don't know who said that, but it's a good dang quote. All right. So it's Friday. Wow. Beautiful day. Nice and sunny. I'm going to go for a hike tomorrow Isn't that right? That's the Pão de Açúcar here. I don't know if you know anything about Rio, but in Rio, there's these it's a famous kind of mountain, two mountains called Sugarloaf. And it's got this, it's got a gondola that goes from from the bottom to the lower loaf to the big loaf, one of the most famous landmarks, but there's a trail that goes along the side of that too. So I'm going to walk this trail tomorrow with a nice group of people from the Hikeaholics group here in Rio. This is a group of like Brazilians and foreigners, and they post hikes and stuff. So I'm trying to meet some people tomorrow. Okay, that's it. See you later.